Power is the thread woven through the entire history of mankind, a force that has inspired civilizations to rise and fall, driven revolutions, guided rulers, and corrupted saints. It is the silent force behind every action of domination, every decision of leadership, and every system of control. But what is power, truly? To dissect it in its rawest, most unfiltered form, one must not look to utopian philosophies or moral idealism. Instead, we turn to one of the most pragmatic and unsentimental thinkers the world has ever produced. Niccolò Machiavelli. Machiavelli does not hand us a vision of a better world. He does not speak of hope, justice, or universal good. What he gives us instead is a mirror, a clear, brutal, and unapologetic reflection of the political world as it is, not as we wish it to be. He removes the veil of illusions and reveals the true mechanics of control, manipulation, survival, and dominance. And in doing so, he crafts a manual for power that has lasted over 5 centuries, relevant not only to kings and emperors, but to CEOs, presidents, influencers, and individuals trying to navigate the power structures of everyday life. Machiavelli's masterwork, The Prince, outlines a vision of power devoid of sentiment. Here, power is not granted by divine right or moral superiority. It is seized, maintained, and, when necessary, taken through force, deception, or strategic cunning. For Machiavelli, power is not a moral good. It is a tool, a weapon, a shield. It is the ability to shape reality according to one's will, to create influence, to command loyalty, and to enforce consequences. In a world that is unpredictable and hostile, power is the buffer between survival and destruction. For this reason, Machiavelli begins by stripping power of its noble disguises. He writes that a ruler must learn how not to be good, to deceive when necessary, to manipulate appearances, and to understand that morality often undermines authority. The goal is not to be loved, but to be feared when fear serves better. And here lies the core of his philosophy: reality over ideals, results over ethics, control over chaos. To understand power through Machiavelli's lens, one must first confront the concept of human nature. He believed men are ungrateful, fickle, false, cowardly, covetous, and must be governed accordingly. A leader who assumes people are inherently good will be betrayed. A leader who prepares for betrayal, on the other hand, will not be surprised when it comes. This is not cynicism for its own sake. It is strategic realism, and it's what separates a ruler who endures from one who falls. Power, then, is not a fixed asset. It is fluid, volatile, constantly challenged, and must be defended with intelligence and discipline. It demands adaptability. Machiavelli's concept of virtù, a combination of courage, decisiveness, intelligence, and strength, refers to the ruler's ability to mold fortune to his will. Virtù is the inner force that allows a man to dominate chance, to turn tides, to seize moments. But virtù alone is not enough. It must be paired with fortuna, the unpredictable element of luck and circumstance. A wise ruler respects fortuna, but does not surrender to it. He prepares for its whims. He positions himself to act decisively when opportunity arrives. Throughout The Prince, Machiavelli offers countless illustrations of how power is gained and lost. He compares hereditary rule with newly acquired power. The former has built-in loyalty, but risks complacency. The latter must often be taken through force and cunning and held with greater vigilance. But regardless of how power is acquired, its maintenance depends on perception. People must believe in the strength of their ruler even when that strength is partly a well-orchestrated illusion. Here, we see the critical Machiavellian concept of image and appearance. It is not enough to be competent. One must appear competent. A ruler must seem merciful, faithful, humane, honest, and religious. Even if he is none of those things, the masses judge by what they see and hear. Rarely do they perceive the deeper truth. Therefore, power belongs not only to those who wield it, but to those who control the narrative around it. In the modern world, this principle translates into media influence, branding, and narrative control. Politicians shape their image through strategic communication. Corporations cultivate brand loyalty, not only through product quality, but through emotional manipulation. Influencers, thought leaders, and executives carefully curate personas that grant them social power. Power not through direct control, but through perception. But Machiavelli warns of the fleeting nature of perception if not rooted in force. Popularity can vanish. Image can crack. Power requires teeth behind the smile. That's why he argues it is better to be feared than loved, if one cannot be both. Love is fickle. Fear is enduring, so long as it does not breed hatred. And is balance. Assert control, inspire fear, but avoid cruelty that alienates loyalty. We must also examine the structural dimensions of power. Machiavelli understood that institutions can serve both as tools and obstacles. A prince must either control them or render them harmless. In contemporary terms, this is akin to managing bureaucracies, co-opting elites, or dismantling resistance. Corporate leaders restructure organizations to consolidate authority. Politicians reshape laws, courts, and committees. Wherever power is institutionalized, a Machiavellian leader finds ways to either dominate or disarm it. Yet one of the most enduring insights from Machiavelli is the need for adaptability. Power requires not rigid ideology, but fluid strategy. As times change, so must the ruler. A strategy that worked in prosperity may fail in crisis. The successful leader reads the moment, understands the tides of change, and adjusts accordingly. That is true power. The ability to read, to predict, and to shift. This adaptability also means managing the emotions of others without being ruled by one's own. Emotional detachment, what modern thinkers might call emotional intelligence, was implicit in Machiavelli's guidance. He teaches that the prince must remain calm under pressure, unshaken by flattery or insult. Those who are too emotionally reactive reveal their vulnerabilities. They can be manipulated. But the composed man cannot be read, and therefore cannot be easily defeated. Machiavelli's timeless relevance is perhaps most evident in today's volatile socio-political and economic climate. In a world of social media, image is everything. In a market of attention, silence can be louder than noise. In an environment of uncertainty, control of perception becomes a form of dominion. Leaders who embrace Machiavellian thinking are not bound by traditional morality. They are bound by effectiveness. They understand that power is not about fairness. It is about leverage, control, influence, and execution. In essence, Machiavelli defines power not as virtue, but as mastery of the moment, of perception, of self, of systems. It is not given, it is taken. And it is not preserved by kindness alone, but by strategy, force, and the willingness to do what others will not. It is, as Machiavelli reveals, the art of rising above morality when morality becomes a liability. To understand power is to see through the illusions society teaches us. that fairness always wins, that good intentions are rewarded, that truth alone is enough. Power laughs at such notions. Power is a game, and only those willing to understand its rules and sharpen their tools will win. This is what Machiavelli teaches us. Not how to be loved, but how to endure. Not how to be good, but how to be strong. Not how to comfort others, but how to govern them. Power, in the Machiavellian sense, is survival elevated to an art form. It is leadership stripped of illusions. It is the deep knowledge that in a world of wolves, the man who wears the lion's skin and the fox's mind walks unchallenged. In the end, the pursuit of power is not about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about being the voice that decides which room everyone enters. That, as Machiavelli would say, is the only kind of power that matters.